All right, this week we are talking with Dustin W. Stout, and we are fearlessly questioning being a design snob. And I wanted to have Dustin on the show to obviously talk about how to make things look pretty and nice and all that fun stuff that we usually get caught up with when starting something new or within our existing business of making these decisions. But really more importantly, what I wanted to get after and really what kind of sits beneath this whole thing is how to do creative work in a business environment. And we sometimes let the merit of the creative work get in the way of actually getting things done, as trying to work through that creative process isn't always something that you can just sit down and do. Obviously, that's what we all try and do, and that's what the best people can do. But actually sitting down and just saying, I'm going to be creative now. I need to get this done because I'm working in a business environment and I don't have just countless time to waste until it's ready. It's not it's ready when it's ready type of thing. There are deadlines, there are budgets, and there are things that you have to do to get it done. And if you're not conscious of that, or if you're not aware of that, then you can get into a lot of trouble. I don't know if you're like me, but my journey before I was fearlessly questioning, before I was working in my family's insurance agency, I was walking down the path of trying to be a professional musician, we'll say, and trying to play in bands and write music and live that life. And even when I wasn't doing that, I was still trying to do something music related, whether it was running a music based website, reviewing music, reviewing albums and things like that. And so it was always really closely tied to music, and whether I was writing it or playing it or talking about it. That was a good 3-4 years of my life out of college. Obviously all through college as well, but really spent time back then, trying to make it on the web with all of that fun stuff, and obviously didn't really work out. And then when I made the decision to come into the family business, I obviously, first of all, did not think that, that creative side of me would not have nearly as much room as it does today. From what I've learned, it's not even close to being true. Doing sales and talking to people is probably one of the most creative things that you can do, from a sense of every conversation you're basically creating something for that person, for what you need to say and how you need to deliver it to them, and that takes a lot of practice, and it's a lot of fun. And even beyond that, with where business and marketing is today, the huge emphasis on creating content, writing articles, producing videos, producing podcasts, producing images, managing websites. These are all things that were highly interesting to me in the music world and in the entertainment world. And I kind of thought that that's all that existed. You couldn't do that for insurance, you couldn't do that for other things. And when that was kind of opened up to me, it was a lot of fun, and I got to really let loose as far as the creativity goes. And still to this day, I get to do all that fun stuff, and it's great. But there was a huge adjustment period for me, and I don't know if you're the same way. From you held those creative works like they were your own child. And in the business world, things need to move sometimes a little faster. You have a budget, you have decisions to make, and sometimes it just needs to be good enough to get your message across. And it's not ready when it's ready. It's ready when it's ready on the deadline. And you need to set those deadlines. And that's what I would really like to talk to Dustin about and get at, because he's obviously holds himself to a very high standard as far as quality, but he still manages to pump out, work consistently. He did, all the pretty stuff that you see for Fearlessly Questioning, the logos and the design and the branding, all of that was, his work. So that's an example of what he can do firsthand, and we turned it around pretty quickly too. So that's really what I wanted to get after. And I think, we're gonna this whole business and creativity and creative business and is going to continue to be a theme throughout the shows. I would like to do a strictly creative business show. I'm just not quite sure who I want to have on yet. I've approached a couple people, struck out a few times, but we'll see who we can line up. I've got a pretty good idea in mind. It's just a matter of actually getting it booked. but really exploring the ideas of designing things and creating things within a business environment, and doing it effectively and efficiently, and still trying to maintain as high of a level of quality as you can. And how do you learn to do that? And how do you learn to do it fast so you can just keep pumping it out? Does it take a lot of practice? In my experience, it took a decent amount of practice to where I wasn't ready to throw everything that I did out the window. But for somebody that considers themselves creative and design focused in whatever avenue, and doesn't think that there's a place for them in business, I would argue and say that there is more of a place than you would ever hope to imagine, because you play by an entirely different set of rules that a lot of these traditional, straight-laced, business-only people have no idea how to do. And if you can learn to apply those skills just a little bit over top of their rules, then you're going to have a lot of success, because you're going to be doing things that they can't even hope to do, and you will become very valuable to them. And it's interesting. So, again, if there's somebody that's more on the creative side listening to this, well, that's hopefully what that's what I hope you'll take out of it, is how to, apply that more in a business sense. And if you're more of the business-minded person, I hope that you will be able to take away how to be more creative, how to open your creative ability for somebody who doesn't think that they're creative, and really, again, designing these works in a way that makes sense in the environment. So we're going to be back. Dustin's going to be back with his rant tomorrow, and we will be back live on Thursday, again, August 21st at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. Of course, wherever you're listening to this, wherever you're finding this, hope that you find your way over to subscribe in whatever method makes sense to you. Obviously, there's iTunes, Stitcher. You can subscribe on YouTube. But really, iTunes and Stitcher, if you could go check us out there, if you really like what's going on here, I would encourage you to leave a rating or a review. And if you don't want to leave a review per se in the traditional sense, I've been encouraging people to go leave their own fearless questions over there. Ask your own fearless question to the community over there on iTunes and Stitcher, and let's shake it up a little bit. And we'll answer some of those on the show. If you have a specific guest that you would like to have it answered, I will do my best to try and get that answer for you from them. If it's been a past guest, or if it's somebody that you know is coming up on the show, we'll definitely get them to answer that for you. So that's it. We will be back. I'm going to get out of here. Take it easy, everyone.